Or who bought? Greetings, y'all. Welcome in. I was asked to start doing collective readings, so we're going to start, doing them a little bit more. Of course, the general consensus of tarot doesn't really align with collective readings, but we can still do them in a very different way. Just remember to use your discernment. Don't accept everything that isn't for you. Apply it where it applies. This isn't going to resonate for everyone always, of course. You all know those types of rules, but just keep in mind that this is as well all about you. It has nothing to do with anyone else, even though it may pop up about someone in your life. It's there to show you that that person you're holding on to, not necessarily that person, but it's going to be their energy, their spirit, their actions that you're holding on to that are causing these repercussive actions within your life, your activities, your business, whatever you're doing. So be sure to know that before you go out and blame people and keep yourself stuck in these bubbles where you are fear stricken and or restricted by someone else's actions instead of living your own and doing what you need to do to get you out of these messes, and taking your power back in that. Regardless, we are going to just jump into this. Depending on how this goes and how far we need to go into this, we have three different decks that we're going to be using. um but yeah, hopefully you all been having a beautiful rising or shadow hour or whatever time it is when you're where you're at and whenever you're seeing this. We're gonna jump into this though. Let's see what's going on. So first we have the Two of Swords reverse. There's something about decluttering with the Two of Swords, and how the Two of Swords is. It's about letting some sort of thoughts not stop you. This could be you needing to do something that you used to in the past. It's almost coming back to you as a way to benefit and improve yourself, but you've been stuck with this ego battle of I can't do this because XYZ. I can't go back and do this thing because it doesn't feel right for me, or maybe you've spoken about something to someone and now that you've released all these emotions that's kept you stuck in the past, you're able to move forward and see this in a better light. Don't allow that to stop you, and it doesn't seem like it is right now with the Two of Swords. You've either been thinking about doing it, you've been taking off the blindfold slowly and moving towards a position that's going to allow you to do these things, or you're already doing that. You've been already on the path of clearing out these thoughts that aren't really benefiting you on moving forward, and they're keeping you kind of stuck in a past cycle. This could do a lot to do with like, um dare I say, even like a destiny type thing, even though it's not popping up with one. It definitely could be something that you yourself feel like is a destiny thing for you, and it's like, I need to do this because I was sent here to do this, but I can't do this because XYZ, it doesn't align with this. Or maybe you're doing it in a different way and you're not really looking for a form of criticism, despite the fact that that's always going to happen, where the criticism is good and or, I mean, positive and or negative, where either it's giving to you or it's taking from you. However it is, you are either, you need to either learn to move past that, which I see is happening, or you've already moved past it completely because it doesn't necessarily matter, right? Yeah, but the Page of Wands. Now it's more of like, it's the Page of Wands reverse is showing a reluctancy to move forward. There's this idea that you have that is kind of being stuck, and it feels like this idea that you've been wanting to push out is what's been causing so much stagnancy in what's been going on around you. And it's like now you've come to this realization. It's like, oh, I know what's stopping me from moving forward. I know what's keeping me from getting what I'm desiring. But there's something about like this ego, this barrier that you've put between something. Though you've let go of the past, you're still bringing a past resentment into the future that you're needing to look forward to. There's something that you need to stop giving so much attention to, because we went from the swords to the idea. So it's a past idea that you thought about. There's like, oh, I could do this, or maybe even this idea was something you did in the past. Again, this is just giving it very much in the past. You used to do this. It could be you used to draw and do art, but then you switched your mediums. You switched from like acrylic to like oil, or however, you know what I mean? And it's like you can't do the same things that you did with the same material, but you still have a greater overstanding. You can do more with it, but it's that, not a fear, but it's a reluctance to do it because you're fighting against some form of grain. This could even be a funny personal example would be, it's because it's not necessarily one that stops me, but it's one that always pops up in my mind every time. And my middle finger is going a little numb. So this has a lot to do with um, Jupiter, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Jupiter is the middle finger. Let me go check that before I say anything. I thought it was off. It's Saturn. Middle finger is Saturn. So this is definitely a Saturn test. I don't know why I thought it was Jupiter. Jupiter's the pointer finger. I was like one off. Regardless, it's the middle finger. It is Saturn. This is like a battle between you and the past. But anyway, a funny example would be like, I DJ different songs whenever I DJ with the DJ group that I'm in. And anytime I do it, it's a different energy. And of course, we all bring our own different energy. But I play like dubstep and stuff, and everyone else plays like popist music or ambient. It's like it all kind of fits together, but then you have my sets, and it's like really abrasive and like attention getting and loud and whatever, right? And even though that doesn't stop me from doing what I'm doing, it always shows me that I'm going to just be the one doing something different. And though that's not a bad thing, it shouldn't stop me from continuing to express who I really desire to be in like an artistic way. Like I'm not gonna switch up what songs I play just because of my surroundings. So you shouldn't switch up what you're doing just because of your surroundings or a new overstanding of something, right? It's this maturity, this ego that wants you to grab on, and a lot of people don't realize it, but this is what the ego will do. This is the ego's trap full force. Is it grabs onto these past ways of being, these past ways of seeing things, these small tiny things that you don't think really matter, but they put up these big barriers for you to take another new step. um so being very aware of that, being very careful of that, there's a lot of changes that are going on that have been restricted for you. There's something about, put your money where your legs are, where your feet are. You know what I mean? Don't put it where your mouth is, because it feels like you've been doing that a lot. Put your money where your feet are. Start walking in that energy. Start moving with those intentions. Start showing how it's done so that other people can have a grander understanding of what's actually happening. If you're going to say something, you need to make an example of it as, my goodness, I got choked up as well. So make sure that you're doing that on this, because again, it just feels like there's this it's like it's a past passion, almost a lost passion. Not a lost passion, it's a newfound passion that you have for it, but this newfound passion almost feels restrictive. It's like, oh, I have this new passion, but I can't do any of this. But you can. Like you're used to using acrylic paint um to like draw landscapes, right? But now you're switching to like oil like stencils and stuff of that nature. And you can do the same thing, but it's going to be a little bit different, right? It's not going to look the same. It's not going to have the same vibe when doing it. It's all these things that you're like needing to not focus on as much, so you can get done what you're desiring to get done. I have a wand reverse, and I was thinking, and there's the Saturn. Speaking of Saturn, my middle finger's still like buzzing. This is the battle that you've lost. You've already lost that battle because you're sitting here in contemplation, because you haven't took that step. But the battle isn't over. It's a daily thing. It's something that's always going to pop up for you, and it's something like you've noticed a decrease, a major decrease. You've noticed that all of the wand, because we have so many wands out right now already. We have 5 wands that are all have leaves on it. It's all firewood. It's all firewood. It's all useful fuel. But on the 5 of wands, you can barely see it. But the one in the red, which is Saturn, does not have any leaves on his stick at all. It is not. It's dead. It's bad. It's not wood that can be used. It doesn't have any life on it. You've took that stick. You've ran with that stick. You've walked that path of fuck this, I'm gonna do this instead. And you see it doesn't really work for you. There's a decrease. There's almost a fear to it where you've had to learn the hard way. And it's not, it's like you've learned this lesson before though as well. Like you've walked down this path a little bit and you've seen it was bad, but then something in you was like, I'm gonna walk down it more just to see what it's really like. And you did, and you learned a lot, but you also with that learning had stripped you from a lot of things that you could have had that would have really given you more of what you've needed. And it's, yeah, with the four wands reverse, it's caused, there's so many wands, it's caused you to really disconnect from why you're no longer engaged with that part of you that really wants to grow and blossom. You know what I mean? You've really disengaged from the part of you that's been wanting to expand, that's been wanting to show you that you can do it this way. And it might have come from a fear, it might have come from uh again just like struggling with fighting against things. Again, this is the same thing as switching up a medium. It's genuinely you are doing something different because you know it's correct, but you're not living it because you feel like you can't do both of those things when you can. You found the middle ground, but you're still walking the wrong path. Like you know what to do, but you're being stubborn and not doing what you need to do. You're in the realm of mentality. All of these ideas that you've been faced with so far. This is nine want, like this is a lot of energy. And it feels like you're going into it now, but it's a little too late. There's already a consequence that's coming up that you're already in, that you already know that you're in. There's already been a sequence of cons or things that are just disagreeable with what you're wanting that are happening, but it's not too late to start walking down that path because you it's always going to be there, right? So this is what you're needing to realize and see right now is it's time to be more engaged with yourself. In a swords, you've already been in this defeated energy. Your thoughts that you had in the past were already proven to not be beneficial. They're not helping you expand. They're not keeping you in an upbeat energy. They've pinned you down, they've struck you down, and now you've betrayed yourself. You've allowed other things to come in and control you. You've allowed your own thoughts that you knew weren't going to be the best for you betray you, and now you're stuck in this energy of if I do, it's like your ego wants you to feel bad or to feel punished or to like, it's like you're being a dick to yourself, honestly, with it. I mean, I feel like you're trying not to be because it's like you're doing what you need to do now, or you're going to be doing that, but you're going to have these thoughts of, oh, you should have done this sooner, and XYZ, and it's going to sound like barking at you, but don't take it as barking. Listen and pay attention to the actual pyre of it, of the divine in you saying, you finally did it, let's go. Now things can start rolling for you. Now your miracles are going to start coming in. Now things are going to be moving for you better because you took the next step. But your mind is going to bark at you because you're going to see a different result. And that's going to make you feel a little bit ashamed to not listen to that part of yourself. But it's a learning experience, is how it all goes. It's about learning to trust yourself. It's about knowing who you are and not worrying about anyone else. Who cares about the celebrities out there? Who cares about your next door neighbor? Who cares about your ex from 5 years ago? They're in the past for a reason because you don't care about them. So don't allow them to come into the present, into the now, with their energy that they made you feel back then, to even the words that they might have said to you back then, come back and bite you in today because it's all you, and that's you barking at yourself in that way, not them. So understanding that's really going to allow you to set yourself free. Mm-hmm. And it comes from this Nine of Swords. It's like this Cain and Abel scene, the quilt of many. I think it's the quilt of many colors, but it has all the zodiacs on it. It's a rose quilt with all the zodiacs on it. It's the Cain and Abel scene where the head is on the pillow, the golden pillow. All the swords. You've been not sleeping. You've been overworking. You've been trying all these things. Like, why is nothing growing for me? And it's not growing for you because you didn't take this one specific move that you knew you should have been taking, but you've been so against it. And the divine is letting you do that. of course, is it's what they're going to let you do. They can't force you to do anything else. They can just tell you the message. Maybe you've been having a hard time hearing your guides or the ones who are watching over you, and it's because you haven't been doing these steps. You've been blocking off the communication that they've been trying to give you by being so recessive in moving forward. So really pay attention to that. It's like you can do these things. Maybe you had, it's like nightmares of it even, or just you've been staying up so late. It's like, I can't go back and do this because I'm already doing this. And what if I do this and people know how X, Y, Z? Who cares? You got to move forward and know that it's for the best of you, and not to assume that it's going to deter your motives or tear your character down a different path, because all these things are coming out of yourself. It's coming out of this devil inside of you. It's coming out of these bad cycles, these bad habits, these things of you not trusting yourself, of you not listening to your intuition, of you shutting off your own gifts for the pleasure of others and how they would feel, rather than listening to yourself and how you would feel, taking on other people's thoughts and emotions and making them yours instead of really living your own life. We have the Eight of Swords reverse. This is the beginning of you freeing yourself. All these swords, we have nothing but wands and swords. This is all about you thinking about an idea. This is all about something that you know you should be doing, but you're not doing it because you keep thinking about it instead of actually doing it. Oh, I could do this. That'd be cool. Yeah. And then the next day happens, and then the next day happens, and then a week goes by. Oh, I could do that. Yeah, that'd be cool. And then more weeks go by, and then a month goes by, and then a year goes by. Do you need another year to figure this out? Hopefully not. Please don't. But the Eight of Swords reverse, you're freeing yourself from this mental prison. This mental prison that's kept you stuck. The more you learn, the more it's going to hurt you, it feels like, because you keep learning these new things like, oh, this is neat, this is cool. And then all of a sudden you don't want to do anything because it's like, what if I'm doing it wrong? What if the way I'm doing it isn't the right way? What if I'm hurting someone, or this isn't what I need to be doing? And all these things pop up. It's like you've got the idea to do it. The idea was not to not do it. The idea was to do it. You know what I mean? You didn't look at it and be like, oh, that's dangerous. Should I do it? Or, oh, I shouldn't do that because XYZ. You looked at it and said, I should do this. And then you went, but I'm not going to because whatever excuse it is, whatever program you decided to throw up in the middle of that, whatever that was, right? And yeah, here it is with the Seven of Swords. You're looking back at that idea. Now is a good time to rest. You've been in a waiting mode. Maybe you have been resting already, looking back like, what is going wrong? What do I need to put more energy into? What's going on? Because not many people are seeing X, Y, and Z. Not many people are looking at this and that, and I'm not getting what I need to do here. And it's like you're sitting there looking like, what's going on? And it's a perfect time to turn back. It's a perfect time to turn around and look at those two swords that have always been with you since the very beginning. The same two swords that are stuck in the ground are right there in the hands. They're no longer blocking you, though. They're behind you, and you need to go back and you need to drop all these other thoughts, these Five of Swords, this regretful energy, this overloaded sensed energy that comes from these thoughts. You need to drop all those swords and pick up those other two. You've been walking this path with all these other swords, but you know for a fact that those other two are what you need. All the swords are pointing towards the ground. That you can carry all the thoughts, but there's two of them that you need to pay attention to, right? You're not. It's not like you're going to walk down this path and all these other thoughts are going to come towards you. Of course not. But there's two of them. There's important ones, not just two, right? But those two swords, we're going to say two. There's important thoughts. There's thoughts that are going to allow you to come together and not be separate, right? Those thoughts you need to start nurturing and start caring about, and not moving away from, or not feeling like it's not worth it because XYZ, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. It's not the time for that. It's time to move forward with determination that you've been given what you need, and moving forward in that new energy is the only way you're going to be able to really do that. Yeah, with the King of Pentacles, because you're already sitting up on top of this gold mine. You already know what works for you. You already know what you need to do. You're here to do it a little bit different. And now that you've learned and you've walked down this path of how to do it differently, start doing it differently. Don't keep it gated. Don't keep it closed. Don't keep it shut. Don't open the damn door, basically, right? Because it's time for you to step out in this new kingdom that you've learned how to build. And now it's time for you to take your rightful owner and be the rightful owner and move forward. This is the only pinnacle that's come out. There has been none other. You know, you already have in your mind what the outcome's going to be. You already know what the outcome's going to be. You already know what people have been wanting. You already know that people are going to enjoy the thing that you're bringing to the table because you've put so much energy and thought and love and emotion into it. Now it's time for you to actually take control, okay, and move forward with that. There's not a need to hide from it. There's a need to push forward, to be the master of it. You've learned so much about it, master it by actually doing it now. Knight of Wands reverse. And this is, again, that's what's just been keeping you held back. The reason why no other idea has been able to come to you and save you and remove you from the circumstance that you're in that you're not liking is because you have not done that yet. You're in this new energy. Do not feed any other idea. This is not the time to do that. Any idea that's going to come from you based from this reading is going to be based off of thought. There has been no cups. There's no emotions. The emotions have been so much that the feelings, excuse me, not the emotions, but the feelings have been so much that you just cut them out completely. You're thinking of too much. You need to nurture yourself. There's too many swords. There's way too many swords. You're in your head. And even if you're not believing that you're in your head, everything you're doing is being based off of a thought that an idea is not going to work because you're not trusting yourself enough to move forward with an idea. You're not trusting yourself enough to really see how things are actually going to play out, what could actually be beneficial, what's really going on is what you really need to start focusing on. And that's like the major thing is like, what is going on? Like, why haven't you been able to move forward? Why haven't you been able to trust yourself? You know, and we're gonna ask that question with this deck. I feel like that's a good way to lean over to this deck. I've been also getting a lot of people asking me to use this deck again because they miss it, and it's a fun deck. But I had to learn too the cards because they're not part of the traditional tarot, so I know them now. So we're good. But we have the Three of Swords reverse. Yeah, so this is all about, this is why your emotions have not been popping out. Maybe you're gonna get like a new emotional break, but your thoughts have been damaging your feelings. You haven't been able to feel because of so many thoughts. But the Three of Swords reverse, now that you're figuring out the why to this, it's, I don't know, it's like you don't want to get, it's like you've had your feelings hurt, or you've hurt your own feelings because of something, or there's some, it's like you've dumped so much energy into it that you just know what you talk about, or you know what you're doing, and you don't need someone coming up to you and starting some bullshit because they're having a bad day, is what I'm really feeling from this card. But with the Three of Swords reverse, you're overprotective of your feelings, but you're not protecting them, you're stabbing them. With the Three of Swords reverse, though, you're needing to find this balance, or you have found this balance, to where you're able to really like see how your thoughts are hurting and see how even the way you might speak to yourself is damaging how you feel, is damaging what the divine's giving you. There's something about any time the divine gives you this golden idea, you strike it down with these thoughts that you need to stop doing. This could be a past cycle. This could even be just a observation of the past, but this is something that's causing, this is the why you haven't been able to do things. It's because you keep stabbing yourself anytime an idea comes to you. Three of Cups, and you get distracted. You allow these distractions. You allow the harlot in red to destroy what you're trying to do. You're not allowing the fruitful nature of the divine show you the right path, you're falling for the one in the red. You're falling for the devil. You're falling for the one who wears Prada. You're not allowing yourself to move forward because of all these feelings. How would this person feel about it? How would they feel about it? I don't feel like I can do this, but you know so much about it. It's the only cup that comes out, and it's probably one of the it's like one of the cups that you don't really want to see. This is a warning. You're going to get distracted again. It is going to happen. The things that you have feared are most likely going to happen because they're not so far fetched. Because it's not like you're going to meet someone that's going to agree with everything that you do. You don't need a yes man. You need to be in actuality, which is not everyone's going to agree or see your vision or be happy that you're doing what you're doing, because it's going to damage them and their name and whatever the fuck up with what's going on with their life, apparently. Because I mean, if they have issues with it and they think that stuff's going to damage their life, that's cool, but that's not what's going on here, right? You need to understand that it's not what this is about. You need to sit down and you really look at this as it is, and you realize and see that these distractions, these feelings of other people are distractions. You caring too much about other people. And that's a lot of people want to say that when you care for someone else like this, it's like an empathic thing. No, this is a doormat behavior. I have to keep it real with you. This is not what an empath would do. An empath recognizes emotions, and what you need to do as an empath is to detach from them. Know that someone feels that way. If you can help them in any way, cool. If you can't, who cares? To the people that are around you that are making you feel like you're doing something wrong or bad because you're doing it differently, you're not to cater to them. That's being a doormat. That's keeping you from doing what you need to do. That's not empathic behavior, because first of all, empathy comes from within. And if you're not giving yourself that empathy to knowing what you really want to do and moving forward, you're not necessarily an empath. You're a narcissist to the ego. You're allowing the ego to be gratified and glorified and shown the light rather than yourself, which is allowing people to come into your life on the physical and do that exact same thing to you. Because if you're already doing it to yourself, it's not a crime for anyone else on the external to do it to you. This is why a lot of people, when they hear like, oh, someone's doing this to you from some whack job, they're like, why are they not being punished? Because you're doing it to yourself and you're allowing it. You've opened the door and you said, anyone who does this, come into my life. And then they've come into your life, and now you're like confused why they're doing it to you. It's because you've done it to yourself first. You can shut that door, but you have to stop doing those things to yourself first. Like, that's the whole point. That's the whole thing. You have to know and be empathic. You have to have that empathy and then know what's going on. And you know what empathy really means as well. Look up these words. You can't just allow someone to say you're something and not know what that word means, right? But we have the moon. This is all happening within the subconscious, the underconscious, the below conscious, right? The hidden conscious, whatever you want to say. Your consciousness has already picked up on it, though. The two dogs are barking at you. They're always like, hey, we see what's going on here, and we see the red flag. We see things not working. What's going on? And your subconscious has been trying to tell you, do these things, do these things. But you're so overstimulated by what's not working that you can't even hear what the subconscious has for you. You're not able to go through this rebirth. That's what you need to go through. You need to go back into the waters. You're coming out of the waters, the deep blue, the knowledge, the wisdom, right? The mother matter. But you're not really seeing what you even went through to get to the surface. Now that you're on the surface and you're receiving these messages, it's like, I don't want to listen to any of it. Like, all of this is just confusing. All of this yada, 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 right? Understand that. And for some of you, because I just got this, some of you are stuck in the things where you're listening to people doing dark magic on you and doing black magic on you, and that's making you scared to move forward. And the way, and let me just be real with you on this works. The reason why you receive so many readings like that is because of two things: one, the algorithm, and two, the matrix inside your brain. If you truly believe, and believe is just a lie that you've given energy and power in your life, right? If you believe that you're under attack by someone else, You're now giving not only your own algorithm inside your mind, but you're also giving the algorithm on your computer, because if you didn't know this already, which some people don't know, Wi-Fi can read your brain waves. That's how they get things. That's how when you think about something, it comes on your fucking, like on an ad. Your phones and your computers are alive. They are living things. You might not want to believe it because they don't got a heartbeat, but they're alive and they're living. They know you better than you know you, and they will read you to filth, and they'll trick you and throw you in a back loop, because that's what you do to yourself on a daily basis. Like, that's the whole thing. Overstand that. But you've allowed both of those matrices, excuse me, to agree to allowing other people into your life that's going to cause this type of magic spell over you. And the ones who keep telling you you're under this attacks of magic and all these things, guess what? They're also putting that spell on you, because you're wanting a solution to get rid of it. And all they're telling you to do is, oh, pray to God. Who's their God, though? Who's the God that they're following and listening to that is saying these things, right? And if the person dares says that they're the God that made the earth, they're listening to Satan. They're a Luciferian. And even though they might not understand that and they'll disagree with it, out of their own mouth, they said it. And if they don't want to agree to it and they don't want to believe in it, they should probably do some research. If they say the God that made the heaven, maybe that's the one you're looking for. Maybe you are looking for a Luciferian one. I don't know. I really don't give a fuck. Just be aware of who's who. Question your spirits. Question them. It's like, I don't believe like I'm under any attack. You know what I mean? You don't have to believe that magic is real. Just know that it is. It's a thing. Whether you want to believe it or give it some form of lie or some form of perversion, just know that it is very real. There are many people on this planet that have a lot of power like that. You know, it's not a fairy tale, it's a reality that we live in, right? Because if man wants it, nature will supply it. And that's what's going on right now, is you deeply inside want this answer to why you want to leave, but you're holding so tightly to a past way of believing, a past way of thinking, a past cycle that's allowing these past energies to come back in, whether they're people, whether they're thought forms, whether whatever the fuck they are. It's energy at the end of the day, right? It's coming back in, corrupting what you're trying to do now, and allowing you to go down these spirals of nothing's working. Am I under attack? No. Well, yes and no. You're not under attack by anything external. You're under attack by everything internal. So you need to switch up how you think. You need to break the matrix that's inside your brain that's making you believe these things, and start knowing some facts about what's going on. You need to remove that. You need to fix your nervous system, because it might be overloaded as well. All these things that you should really be focusing on and seeing, you need to start doing. The moon is out here. It's the luminary. It's showing you what's hidden in the dark. It's trying its best to illuminate. The moon card originally is eclipsed. So it's not that you can't see anything. There's light coming from behind the darkness. There's something blocking you from seeing what's really going on. And it's this subconscious behavior that's trying to show itself. And the conscious behavior that you have is blocking all that light, blocking all that needs to be seen, because you keep feeding into that dark place, that unknown place that you're trying to figure out, that you simply might never figure out. Start nurturing yourself. Start nurturing yourself. It has a lot to do with Sophia. And if you didn't know, Sophia is not like a heavenly thing. This is the wisdom aspect of it. You have all this wisdom, but what is it doing? You have all this knowledge of things, but what is it really doing for you? Are you moving out? Are you stepping out of these cycles? Are you really showing your forefront self? Are you nurturing yourself spiritually to allow things on the physical to be nurtured as well? Are you nurturing yourself physically so that your spiritual self will be able to get brighter and highlighted more and grow and mature? What are you doing? Is this helping or hurting your soul? Are you allowing your soul to grow, or are you hindering it? Are you plastering blasphemies over your life and over others, or are you really working on yourself, on what you desire to do? This is the question that you have to ask yourself when you're doing anything. You have to really understand these things and to move forward with this overstanding. It's like you see all these, you see what you desire, you know what you want. And you're almost stuck between two realms, because you want to know why these things are happening. first of all. You want to know why these cycles are even there, but then you also want to know, how do I get rid of them? But you're so stuck at looking about why the cycle is, and you're so stuck on looking at the people who are involved in your life and putting them in these caskets of blame rather than focusing on how do I get them out. I know who's doing what. I know not who's doing what, but I know why I am attached to these beings, these souls, these spirits that have obtained flesh in this lifetime. I know why I'm attached to it. I understand why the flesh is an easy thing to attach things to, because you can dress up the flesh in clothes and scarves and makeup, but you can't really dress up the flesh. In fact, you can only dress up the soul, in fact, right? And it's like you see all these things, but you're so stuck on being split between two worlds, praising two gods, and it's putting you in a fear, putting you in a stagnancy, which makes you please and give thanks and give gratitude to Satan, to Lucifer, because that's what he wants you to be, confused, for you to be stuck. So you need to make a mind up. Where do I want to be? Do I want to be stuck on this realm, dealing with Lucifer, dealing with all the fear, the stress, being a God-fearing man, which literally just means worshiping Lucifer, because God's not supposed to give you fear. The God on the earth is, but the God who made the heavens is not a fear operating God. All right, he's not a fear operating being. There's two gods. There's more than two gods, right? But there's the poles of the gods. There's the one that made the Orions, the heavens, the stars, and then there's the one that made everything on earth. And a lot of people love everything on earth. They want to praise the one that made things on earth rather than the one that made heaven. And then they wonder why things aren't working out for them. Because the one that made earth wants you stuck in earth. It's hell. Not actually, I don't fully know that, but from the scriptures and how it's read out, earth is the hellish platform. So you need to understand that. Who are you praising? Are you praising the fear, or are you praising the one that's going to get you out of here? Are you giving your attention to all the fear and all the negative energy? Not negative energy, but are you paying attention to all the pessimistic energy? Are you paying attention to the people that are saying you can't do it and trying to mock you? Or are you paying attention to the actual idea and how it makes you feel, and giving yourself the love and the nurturing that you need for yourself to show others the path, right? This is where you're going to get your justice. This is what you need to find out. This is your court ruling. Where do you stand? Do you stand above or below? Do you stand under or over? That's what you need to do. Do you overstand it, which is the higher, or do you understand it, which is the lower? You can't understand something and be on top of it. You'll always be under it. It will always crush you down. Understanding is not going to get you anywhere. You need to overstand it. How do you overstand it? It's not just a word. To overstand it means that you've mastered it. You know what it is. You know how to move it around. You know how to alchemize it. You see it from an above point of view, and you know how to handle it, what to do, and you know how to keep yourself in your own personal state while that comes in. That's overstanding. Understanding is just seeing it from a below point of view, seeing how big it is, seeing the shadow it casts on you, being in the unknown, and allowing it to control and contort you. That's understanding. And a lot of people would like to say overstanding in the spiritual community, but they really only understand it, because if they overstood it, it wouldn't be a catastrophe. It wouldn't be something that's bottling them up or keeping them held down or anchoring them down. They would be over top of it. They would be able to control it and fly and move with it with ease. In the Wheel of Fortune reverse, again, this is what you need to figure out. You're at the bottom of the wheel. Do you want to stay under the wheel, or do you want to be on top of the wheel? You're in the form of life. The snake is a sine wave. The snake is a symbol of life. The sphinx is a symbol of higher wisdom, of divine wisdom. And the fox that's not on this card, well, it's a wolf on the card. The wolf represents the fox represents the downward spiral, the going underneath, the slyness of life that puts you back under the wheel, the things that you think that you want that isn't really good for you at all, and it puts you back under. Where do you want to be? Because you've ran with that fox. You said, oh, it's a quicker way of doing it. This way seems better. You're at the bottom of the wheel. Do you want to stay there, or do you want to come back up? The only way to come back up is by going through life, by using the snake, by using the wisdom, by going up. You need to go up. How do you go up? That's up for you to decide at this point. How do you want to move forward? How do you want to see the grander part of life? How do you want to achieve those goals? You're going to need to go hermit. You need to look into yourself. You need to go deep within yourself. You need to go into a meditative state. Basically, you could say that. You just need to be quiet and draw information from within, from the waters, from the depth, from the divine. You need to go to mother. Stop paying attention to Saturn. Stop listening to dad. Father time's not helping you right now. Father time's in the wheel of fortune as well. No, in the world, excuse me. The wheel of fortune in the world. Father time's been like distracting you. You need to talk to mother. You need to go into the deep blue. You need to take time to be in a quiet area and draw up this information. You have it within you and you know you do, but there's something about you fighting yourself in this way that's keeping you from seeing what you desire. It's keeping you from doing what you need to do. With the Nine of Cups, this is your wish fulfillment. This is how you're going to get the ideas. It's going to show you the right way of doing things. It's going to show you what you've been wanting and what you've been desiring for so long, but you need to do it. A lot of people say, I can't be in quiet by myself, because you don't trust yourself, because you don't actually like yourself. If you can't sit by yourself for a while and know that, it's because you don't like yourself. When you learn to like yourself and really love yourself, you can be by yourself in these times. A lot of people don't like themselves because they're not at peace with themselves. They're not saying to themselves, I love who I am. I forgive myself for my past, it's whatever. A lot of people want to believe that that's something that people who do stuff wrong say. No, you do that so that whenever you leave this realm and you're faced with yourself, you're not facing the gigantic bully you were to yourself on the flesh, on the physical, and same in the spiritual. A lot of people aren't ready for that. A lot of people are going to get their ass handed to them by themselves, because that's just how the cycle goes. You only have yourself. And a lot of people, especially within the spiritual community, have this weird ass ego that if you say anything like that, they want to believe that it's because you're doing something wrong, or they think it's only for you. But they're so blind and deaf and dumb. They don't realize them. Deaf and dumb, they mean the same thing. Deaf and dumb is like blind and can't hear. Look it up. It's an old term. It's literally in the Bible. Anyway, people are in that energy to where they can't even see that it's about them. They believe that it's for someone else because they click on it and they don't want to agree with themselves. That's another egoic backlash. There's a denial thing. But people need to understand, when it's said for someone, it's said for everything. It's not just said to be said. If they listen to it, it's for them. And a lot of people need to understand that. And that's why a lot of people, when they get these readings from other people, they're like, oh, someone's doing magic on you. And it seems like it's this person, like your ex. It's not the ex doing magic on you. It's literally you who's attached to that ex in some form of way. But because you asked the question in a specific way, it's going to be given to you in that specific way. Or the reader just doesn't know how to determine questions, or doesn't know how to read it all, and they just want to scam people for money because they're living a lavish life anyway, based off of the lies that they keep telling people, because they're actually working for Lucifer and not doing anything else. And a lot of people aren't going to like that, but let me just break it down for you in like real. You know what I mean? Regardless, you are the magician. Anything that you want from above, you will drag below. It is you and you alone when it comes to what you're wanting in life. It is you and you alone that knows how to receive all that you're desiring. But you have to do it. And there's an order of operations, from the wand to the cup to the sword to the pinnacle, the idea to the feeling to the thought to the manifested reality. The cause, the feelings consciousness, the rational consciousness, and the effect. If you want to think of it in those ways, that's how many ways you can break it down. But you need to see what you draw from the heavens. What are you drawing? Are you taking the idea from above and then contorting it into something bad and then putting it out as dog shit on the ground? Or are you actually taking from what's above and allowing it to come down as it was seen as above? This is what you need to take action in. This is the grand idea. This is something you need to learn and master. Just seeing it like that. This is a good idea. How can I bring it from top to down? How can I bring it from the heavens to earth perfectly without allowing anything on the external to destroy it, because it was given to me? How can I control these things? What can I do to better myself down this journey? What can I do not what is anyone else doing, because that's not going to give you anything at all. It's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. What can I do that's going to bring me closer to my end result that I'm desiring, and not the end result of someone else's fanatical life or fanatical statements or whatever, right? I'm going to use one more deck here real quick and just pull a few out. See what else needs to come out. But let's see here. We have the Three of Swords again. Yeah, don't let this message beat you up either. Is what I'm getting heavily. First, I'm going to say that because messages like these aren't to hurt you. Again, the Three of Swords wants to come out. It's there's a lot of thoughts that are hurting your feelings. Don't let how you think define how you should feel. Maybe you're taking something in the wrong way. Maybe you're not allowing yourself to actually feel things anymore. You're just allowing them to come towards you and to determine how your whole day is going to go. Take more control over yourself. This is this balancing act that you need to figure out of how to do. So don't be in a regretful and a grieving energy of, oh, I could have done all these things, or oh, you're right about some things and now I feel bad. Don't let that happen. You can feel bad, but don't let that bad feeling control you, right? Allow yourself to be like, I made a mistake. That's okay. I can move forward. Don't tear your whole life up more because of it. That's something you need to learn how to do, because at the end of the day, it is just you. It's the parts of you that you haven't noticed. And that feeling isn't there to hurt you. It's not there to make you feel like an awful person. It's there to show you, I've been trying to tell you for so long. Now that you are listening to me, I can come to you and talk to you more. It's the ego that's like, damn, I fucked up, and now you're trying to talk to me more about this, and I just don't want to listen to you because I know that you're right, and I just don't want to be told that you're right, because you don't want someone coming to you and be like, oh, I told you so, because that's not what you want. But that's what your ego feels is what's going to happen, because it's holding so tightly to either a past trauma, or that's you. That's just how the ego is in general. It feels like there's always going to be some sort of combative energy. Learn how to talk to yourself. Learn how to feel. This is how you're going to leave this Three of Swords energy. Learn how to talk to yourself. Learn how to speak fish. Learn how to talk water. Learn how to talk to mother. Learn how the water moves inside of you. Learn how to feel. Stop emoting. Stop emotioning. Stop taking your feelings and putting them on the physical. Feel them. They're feelings. They need to be felt. You don't need to emote them. Emoting them is going to cause more feelings, because then you're going to think that they are bad, and then it's going to keep you in that 3-cycle loop and not put you in any sort of other new idea. It's going to put you back into a new thought that's going to make you put out a new action. It's going to make you feel weird. To a new thought, to a new action, make you feel weird. You need to learn how to feel, how to listen to yourself. And you can listen to yourself. It's not necessarily about learning how to listen to yourself. It's more of just actually doing it. And it's not the thoughts that you get. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. You know what thought is from your feelings and what thought is not, but it's up to you to delve deep enough inside of yourself to remove these barriers to truly feel and see what's going on. The Page of Wands, even. This is the step to your next adventure. This is the next step you need to take. This is that new way of looking that you've been needing, that you've been asking for yourself to grab onto, for whatever. There's been 2 pages back to back. There's something about this adolescent energy. You've already got the thing from the queen, from the divine, from the mother. Now it's time for you to start walking. It's time for you to start learning. Walk down the path. Don't be afraid. This is what's going to help you. From the cups to the wands, it's something about nurturing the idea. Go back and do that. Justice. This is where you're going to get your grand finale. This is where everything is going to start aligning. You'll feel lighter. Things will start coming to you more. You've released a barrier that's been keeping things stuck down for so long that you're finally able to do and see. And guess what? It puts you right on top of the Wheel of Fortune. This is literally what you need. This is what you want. This is your solution. You know what's causing these bad thoughts, these bad feelings, these feelings that you don't agree with, these thoughts you don't agree with. Nurture the idea. Why is it coming to you? Well, let me see. It's coming to me because I just felt like I couldn't do it in the past, and now I know that I can. Or I just really wanted to cling on to this one way of being, but I realized it's not for the best of me. Or I know that this is a path I'm supposed to be walking down and doing in this lifetime, but I just felt like I couldn't because XYZ. That's okay. Start nurturing that idea. Now that I know that I can do these things, now I know a different way of doing it, everything's going to be fine. I'm going to get my justice. I'm going to get on top of the wheel, and everything's going to be fine. And it's all going to happen when you start digging into yourself, when you start looking deeper. And even when you start getting your rewards, you're going to overstand because you've mastered it. You've gone through it. You're going to see the end result and be like, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is what I've been trying to do. Now that I understand that, what new things can I do with it? Now that you do it once, all these new ideas. Oh, I could do it this way. I could do this. I could do that. I could do whatever. What other kind of thing could I do to improve what I'm already doing? What more can I add? What can I do next? How am I going to do this? What's my new schedule for these things? That's what the divine wants you to do. Get excited. And you're going to see what's kept you stuck. You're going to see these pathways of being and all these thoughts that used to keep you stuck. They're going to come back up again. But you're going to be in this energy of seeing the end result for both experiences and choose which one you want to go by. Do not let your senses get overwhelmed, though. Balance yourself when you're in this, because that ego, that egoic self, the devil is part of your ego. It is the upside down ego. It is the ego that doesn't want you to move forward. It is the ego that wants you to be stuck and bashed and banished and be bastardized and damned. That's the devil energy, right? You need to balance it. Why do you feel so bad about doing things in the past? What has kept you from doing those things in the past? Transmute it, balance it out, filter out the water, and be like, you know what? I'm gonna pour into my own cup. I'm gonna see why I couldn't do those things. Instead of letting that keep me down and torture me, I'm gonna move forward from it. I'm gonna break through those boundaries and I'm gonna move on. Death, you're gonna go through a rebirth. This is your rebirth where you're actually gonna see things in a higher, brighter light than you used to. And you're going to have the high priestess knowledge. You're gonna have all sorts of wisdom. You're gonna know right from wrong. You're going to know what the unknown is. You're going to know what the known is. You're going to be able to walk down the path. You're going to be able to walk within the darkness and see the light, and be within the light and see the darkness. You're going to be able to know the rules. You're going to have your hands hidden when you move forward, and you're going to be able to trust yourself even more than you used to. And it's all going to come from the Hangman and the Seven of Pentacles. It's all going to come from this sacrifice, this over knowing of things are going to work out my way. I just need to work patiently, not overwork, not be strenuous on self, but to work patiently. After you see the end result, it's to work patiently. Understand that it's not going to be a one night overnight change. It could be, right? We never know, but it's most likely not going to be. Let's keep it real. All right, it's going to be something you build up on, but the more you do it, the better it's going to be. The more you see this external outcome, the more it's going to fuel your internal. But this has been the little reading for what you could be doing on this path of yours. I hope it helped you out. Thank you all so much for all the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, whether they are energetic or financial. I appreciate them all. If you are looking to donate, all donations are going to be going towards working on the tarot classes, getting better equipment for that, all sorts of things. If you didn't know, with the tarot classes, whenever I'm going to hopefully be doing them like in person at some point. I've been trying to find like a building to get with those. If you know anyone that would like to help me with this fundraiser that I'm doing or anything like that, because we're going to buy more of the decks for people to have like personal decks and stuff, and just have decks there in general. Regardless, we're just getting a bunch of material. If you would like to support that, please repost the poster that I have on the community tab and also on the shorts. And if you do feel like donating to the fundraiser, make sure that you donate to either the PayPal, the Cash App, or the Venmo, as those are going to be like the immediate funds that we are going to need for this type of stuff. Regardless, if you can't, just sharing it around is going to be a helpful hand, regardless, because that's all we really need to do is get the word out even more. If you feel like just donating to the YouTube channel, that's cool too. Whatever, I'm greatly appreciated for all of you. But I love you all to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. I should also mention this as well. Everything you would need is in the description. The Malachi Z York books, free Dr. Malachi Z York. Malachi Z York. He's coming home. He is coming home. He's all his books there in the description. They're all free. All my services are down there. You can either use the order form or email me. Regardless, I'll get to it. If you're interested within the tarot classes that I'm doing as well, give me an email and I'll tell you about the prices. I'll send you all the information for that. But regardless, thank you all so much for all the support and love. I love each and every one of you all to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. And I will see you later.